Hello everyone. Today, let's make the kitten coaster together. Before we start, let's take a look at the finished result. Let's get started. First, adjust the length of the needle head. Take out the pipe cleaner. The color of the pipe cleaner is random. First, slightly bend the end. Align it to this position. Wrap the pipe cleaner around the needle head. Try to wrap it tightly. You can gently press down with your hand while wrapping to make it more compact. When measuring the distance from the pipe cleaner to the needle tip, gently press down the pipe cleaner with your hand to make it compact. Don't press too hard. The distance from the pipe cleaner to the needle tip is about 1 inch. That's roughly 2.5 centimeters. Next, cut off the excess pipe cleaner. Then the end of the pipe cleaner downward. Press it to make it more compact. This helps prevent snagging the yarn while punching. The punch needle is now ready. First, begin making the threader. Pinch the ends of the fishing line. Secure them with tape. Use your own tape for the line ends. Use this as the threader. Taping makes it easier to handle. Not having tape won't affect threading. Next, let's learn how to thread the punch needle. Pinch the folded part of the threader. Insert it through the small hole at the needle tip. Make sure to insert it through the small hole here. Do not insert it directly through the large hole. If thread this way, the yarn won't stay on the fabric surface during punching. You need to thread through this small hole into the large hole and push it forward. It will come out from the other end. Put the yarn in. Pull out the yarn, leaving about 1 inch of yarn end. About 2.5 centimeters. Start stretching the fabric. Loosen the screw on the embroidery hoop. Remove the inner hoop. Place the embroidery fabric with the pattern facing up on the inner hoop, making sure the pattern is centered. Place the outer hoop on. If the pattern is too misaligned, remove the outer hoop and readjust the pattern's position. Place the outer hoop back on. If there is a slight misalignment, you can loosen this side inward. Then pull the other side outward to tighten. Center the pattern. Tighten the screw while evenly pulling the embroidery fabric outward in all directions. Be careful not to pull too hard, otherwise the pattern may become distorted. Try to keep the distance between this line and the outer hoop roughly the same. Press down on the fabric surface and notice the obvious indentation. This means it's not tight enough. Keep tightening. Pressing the fabric surface again, it's not easily dented. It feels tight, then it's okay. Now, let's start the actual crafting. Take out number for stitches and color instruction manual and unfold it. This picture shows the finished effect. You can refer to this picture during the process. First, punch this area. This area uses yarn in color number 6. Using the flat stitch method, use sponge needle. Thread the yarn using the method as shown earlier. Leave enough yarn and let it rest loosely to the side. Pick up the embroidery hoop, hold it a little above the table to make stitching easier. Along the area, find a starting point on the edge. The bevel of the needle should always face forward. Push the needle head fully in. It should be pressed tightly against the fabric surface. Flip to the back and pull out the yarn end. Flip back to the front. Insert the needle every 2 or 3 holes. Keep the needle tip close to the fabric surface as you move forward. Don't lift it too high. Lifting too high while punching will cause the yarn segment to stick out. You can go back to the previous step. Slide the needle tip along the fabric surface to restore the enlarged holes caused by punching. Pull back the excess yarn. Continue punching. No need to strictly follow the number of holes when punching. Just make the yarn segment about the same length as the previous one. Rotate the embroidery hoop. Turn the hoop to a comfortable position. When punching the second round, each stitch should land in the middle of each yarn segment from the first round. Punching this way will give a nicer finish. Here's the effect after punching. Pull out more yarn promptly when the yarn feels tight. Let it rest loosely aside and continue punching. At the turning point, if it's inconvenient to punch fully, you can simply punch across horizontally like this. Leave this area to fill in later, which makes the process easier. Be careful not to punch over the eyes and mouth. Fill this area completely with punching. After punching, flip it over to the back side. Cut the yarn. Next, fill in the gaps. Pull the yarn end out from the back. Flip to the back and cut the yarn. Continue filling. Pull the yarn end out from the back. Hold the yarn with your hand to prevent it from pulling out. Then cut the yarn. Then use the needle tip to poke this yarn end inside. Next, punch the mouth area in these two areas. Using number 2 yarn. Put the flat stitch technique and punch needle. Thread the yarn. Start punching the mouth area. Be careful not to punch the nose area in the middle. After punching this area well, pull out the needle and cut the yarn. Next, punch this area. Also punch this ear area well. Next, punch these areas. Using number 5 yarn. With the flat stitch technique. Thread the yarn. Start by punching this area. Fill this area completely with punching. Punch the remaining areas using the same method. During the process, flip to the back and trim the long yarn tails short on the back. This makes it easier to craft. Next, start punching the eyes. Be careful not to punch the middle areas. After punching one side like this, you can cut the yarn directly. Then punch the other side. Use the same method to punch the other eye. You can poke a few times with the needle to adjust the shape of the eyes. Next, punch the ear concha E. Take out the corresponding yarn. Thread the needle. Start punching. Punch the other side the same way. Trim the yarn tails on the back. Next, punch the eyes and nose. Thread the needle. Start by punching the nose. Use the needle tip to shape the nose. Punch the eyes. Next, punch the background area. Here's how it looks after punching. Now, let's make the outlines. The outlines use yarn in color number 3. The tool is a hand sewing needle. This is the tool. Take a length of black yarn. Each piece of yarn has 4 strands, take 2 of them. Take out the sewing needle and thread the yarn through the needle's eye. Now it's ready to use. Next, sew the outermost outline first. Leave a small gap and bring the needle out here. Flip to the back, leaving a short yarn tail. Inserting the needle here. Then bring the needle out from here. Insert the needle slightly below the topmost part of the first yarn segment. This way, the embroidered outline looks more smooth. Continue. Insert the needle slightly below the topmost part of the previous yarn segment. Continue. Use the same method to outline the outer circle. If you find the yarn is not long enough, you can cut it off. Take a new to strand yarn and thread it through. Then continue sewing. Leave a short yarn tail at the back as well. Next, sew the outlines of the ears on both sides. Then embroider the outline on the other side. After sewing, bring the needle out from here. Leave a short yarn tail on the back. Then insert the needle at the center of the nose. Cut the yarn. Next, take a piece of black yarn. Each piece of yarn has 4 strands. Take 1 strand. Pass it through the needle eye. Outline the eyes. Leave a short yarn tail at the back. Similarly, insert the needle slightly above the previous yarn segment. Use the same method to embroider the outline of the other eye. After finishing the eyes, embroider the outline of the chin. Embroider the chin along this downward curve. Cut it off. Next, sew 3 whiskers. The position and length of the whiskers can be adjusted to your liking. Like this, so the other side. The result looks like this. After this, loosen the screw. Remove the embroidery hoop. At a distance from the outer edge of the pattern, about 1 inch. About 1.5 centimeters. Cut off the excess fabric. Trim along the pattern outline. Cut it out. Make slits at the edge, cutting up to the yarn edge. Be careful not to cut the yarn. After cutting, turn it over to the back side. Apply hot melt glue. Fold inward and press to stick. When using a hot melt glue stick, you can use a glue gun to help. If you don't have one, you can use a lighter to melt it. When using a lighter, use the inner flame to heat and soften it until it becomes transparent. Apply it and fold inward. When using a lighter, heat with the inner flame. Soften until transparent and ready to use. Eating with the outer flame will cause the melted glue to turn black, which looks unattractive. Glue all around the edge. After gluing everything, check the front side. The front side should not show the embroidery fabric on the back. Flip to the back. Take out the felt and cover it on top. Apply hot melt glue. Press to stick it down. Make sure to glue the edges too. Like this, all the edges are glued. Flip to the front. Trim the excess felt along the edges. Flip to the back. Trim the bottom edges more neatly. After cutting, flip it to the front, and your kitten coaster is ready.